if you have been following this story at all, Michael Douglas came out a couple of weeks ago and said that Val Kilmer was battling oral cancer. And Val Kilmer then responded by saying, it's just not true.
Said absolutely not. Said, I don't know where Michael is getting that. And of course, they're friends. But he said, look, I did contact Michael when I found out that I had a lump on my throat, but it's not cancer. So cut to last night in Hollywood, Val Kilmer shows up to introduce a screening of his new movie, Citizen Kane. And when he addressed the crowd, it was very obvious.
Citizen Twain.
Sorry, did I say Citizen Kane?
Yeah, you may have, yeah.
Citizen Twain. And when he addressed the crowd, it was very obvious that he is battling something. He wouldn't let on what it is, but it was very hard to understand what he's saying. You will hear this, and he tries to explain it.
I went to rehearsal down in Florida, and I started having trouble with my speech. My tongue swelled up, and I had to cancel the tour. So as I'm recovering, I'm sort of moving, so I'm going to get back to because there's something all over it.
I will say, at the very least, he was in good spirits and a sense of humor about this.
Dude, he should get that checked out.
He's dabbing, you know,
There
saliva
is something really upsetting and troubling about this whole thing, and it's so weird to me that Michael Douglas came out with a statement, and then Val Kilmer came out and said not
it's
true.
Not cancer,
so
but
it's
something
just
is there.
Weird. I've never quite seen anything like this.
And I can tell you, without dissecting the entire religion, guys, he's a Christian Scientist, and one of the things that's going on here, and he has every right to do this in this country, but part of what's going on here is that he is ignoring and explaining away the actual illness. Now, I worked on this story originally, Harvey. You were here when this happened. He had a horrible incident at his house in Malibu where the same kind of thing happened. He was choking. He called 911 and was trying to get aid. At the time, we were told by several family members of his that he was suffering from throat cancer, that he had to get surgery, he had to get treatment. That happens to a lot of the families. A lot of people, like even me, where you have people that have cancer in your family, you have to deal with it. Unfortunately, in this situation, why it's become a big news story is because he won't openly discuss it or acknowledge the illness. And look, he has every right not to. But what happens here is he's explaining what's wrong with him by just saying, my tongue is swollen, when even one of his colleagues and friends tells the public that he has this illness.
But here's the difference, Mike. There's a difference between saying he's a Christian Scientist, which means he doesn't get the kind of medical treatment we normally think of, but he could still acknowledge the illness, even if he's a Christian Scientist.
Right.
For some reason, and again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I'm just saying that when you look at the way it lays out, Michael Douglas, a friend of his who himself battled cancer, is saying that Val is going through this, and Val almost immediately comes out and says Michael doesn't know what he's talking about.
That it's not only that Michael doesn't know what he's talking about, he said it is not cancer. He said, my diagnosis does not include cancer. So, but he is acknowledging he was diagnosed for something,
right,
but he won't say what it is.
This is Ashley Shepard from Bowling Green, Kentucky. I'm very disappointed to hear about Mr. Kilmer's health condition right now, and I'm even more disappointed to hear that this tour is not going to happen at this point, because the Citizen Twain story is something that I think we really need in America right now. I mean, it's about reconciling bullying and hateful words with one another, and the story of Mark Twain and Mary Eddy is very important for us as Americans right now, and how to apologize whenever you've done something wrong to someone. So I really hate to hear that this project isn't going to go through.
Yeah, okay. So the movie is still coming out, but there was a play he was going to do, and then he's canceled that
clearly, yeah,
because of